This podcast is part of the Frederick Podcast Network. Learn more at listenfrederick.com.
That's number one. You kind of reset me.
Painful, tender to the touch. May also
Same shoulder length, and the other.
Well, hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Real Health Podcast with Brandy and Amir. I am Dr. Amir Rashidian, a chiropractor, and Brandy Rashidian is the honorary chiropractor.
Or wet potato.
Wet potato. We were going to use a potato filter, which I don't know what that is.
I don't know, but I'm distraught over all the rain, which is causing my hair to not be good by the time we record.
And damaging our new office, too.
Oh, yes, that's a whole other conversation.
Right. We don't need to get into that. A potato filter won't fix that either.
Nope, unfortunately.
So Brandy was worried about her hair. Can you guys tell her she looks great? Because I told her and it didn't mean anything, but she wants Sean to put a potato filter over her head. Well,
I actually asked for a different hairstyle so he could put a filter on to redo my hair. And he said the only thing he can do is a potato filter. So I said I would take it. So if
Brandy looks like a potato, that's why.
It's not my new weight loss program.
Here in the studio, she looks like herself, but I don't know if that took place or not. We'll find out.
It's always exciting, always an adventure.
I'm sure it's Monday when you're watching this, but anyways, so she's not actually a potato. Is Brandy?
I do enjoy potatoes from time to time.
The Real Health Podcast, I got to say this,
yes.
Is brought to you by the Frederick Podcast Network.
Yep.
And you may find us on listenfrederick.com along with YouTube, Spotify, and what else? iTunes.
It's everywhere.
Good.
Every platform you could think of.
And it's nice because we had a nice jump in downloads last week.
Yeah.
I wonder if that was, who knows? We'll
it's
find
probably
out.
Because of Devin and his great hosting for our 99th episode.
But that was a while ago.
Or people enjoy seeing you cry on the 100th episode.
Weeks ago. Okay, I guess I can't deny that.
Your eyes were a little sweaty. I was just supportive crying.
Moving on, Mrs. Potato Head. Moving on, the Real Health Podcast is where we bring you all the latest information in health and wellness.
Yes.
Or maybe we bring you the latest information on drugs and surgeries. Who knows? Or
Depends
treatments,
on the
or the new diseases, or the new fad in diseases, or a new disease that they want you to be afraid of or worry about.
Like the new screwworm.
Screwworm. Wow.
Don't worry about it.
Is that found in potatoes?
No, it's found in meat.
Oh, boy. We're going to talk about protein.
Yeah.
Anyways, our purpose for doing all this is so that we can bring you the information you need to help you feel better, get stronger, live longer, and feel younger. I think everybody wants that. So the first article we have, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this.
Yeah, let's not.
It's from New York Times, and I guess they're happy about it. It says, daily pill may work as well as Ozempic for weight loss and blood sugar. So Eli Lilly said clinical results of its GLP-1 in pill form showed safety and efficacy data similar to blockbuster injectable drugs. All right, so you know how we feel about drugs, and anytime a new drug comes out, we don't get excited, especially new drugs. I like to wait 5 years, at least 5 years, to really see what the true side effects are, and I don't think any of these things have been around for 5 years.
No, and what's funny is Eli Lilly says that it's going to be great, but they never even released their underlying data.
That's like when Hollywood
trial.
makes a new movie, they tell everybody, this is the greatest movie ever.
And nobody's seen it yet. Like, same thing for here. Like, they haven't released their data from the trial, and the results it disclosed are not being examined by outside experts. So that's like me making food and then going, I'm the best cook in the world, but nobody else has eaten it, and it's just my word.
Well, there's a thing in business, they say under promise and over deliver. But when it comes to marketing, you have to over promise.
Which often means you under deliver.
And then pray you can deliver. Over promise and pray you can deliver.
Well, let me tell you what my biggest issue with these weight loss drugs. Okay, you ready? Is that as a society, we have created this problem that we now have created all these drugs for. And there was even a new article released, which we're not going to get into, but they're basically saying Ozempic and Wegovy hold a key to longer life. I mean, they want you to live longer with a paralyzed intestine? Like, what part of it is, I don't want longevity in that realm. But we've created all of these food issues. We've loaded the highly processed foods. Well, they're highly processed, which isn't great. And then we've loaded them with all of these chemicals that are addictive and horrible for you. And then we allow these companies to come and create these medication, and they're charging atrocious amounts for it. So I'm like, I don't know. It kind of makes me upset.
We'll talk about the cost also. It says GLP-1 on the market now are expensive. Must be kept refrigerated and must be injected. A pill that produces similar results has the potential to become far more widely used, though it is also expected to be expensive. Eli Lilly is not expected to announce a price for the drug until after it wins approval.
Right. And it's already their products, their injectables, like Ozempic and whatnot, they're expensive products as it is, at least here in the States.
That's right. The clinical trial involved 559 people with type 2 diabetes who took the new pill or a placebo for 40 weeks. The patients who took, it's called orforglipron A1C, a measure of blood sugar levels over time, fell by 1.3 to 1.6%. That doesn't seem like a big drop.
Well, here's the kicker.
If I lower my cholesterol by 1.3%, but first off, cholesterol is not a bad thing, so let's not do that one. If I drop my blood pressure by 1.3%, that means I went from 120 to 118.
Right. Well, the other thing is, where can we see what the placebo group did? Because I find it very suspicious.
Did they tell you?
No, they totally left it out.
Ozempic and Mounjaro generated similar results in unrelated trials. For 65% of people taking the new pill, blood sugar levels dropped into the normal range. Patients on the new pill also lost weight, an average of 16 pounds for those taking the highest dose. Their weight loss was similar to that achieved in 40 weeks with Ozempic, but slightly less than with Mounjaro in unrelated trials. Side effects were the same as those with the injectable obesity drugs: diarrhea, indigestion, constipation, nausea, and vomiting. You know, vomiting does cause weight loss also, incidentally.
Well, so does diarrhea. And here's the thing. It's over 40 weeks. I know people who've lost more than 16 pounds doing it naturally in 40 weeks. That's a long time, people. That's almost a year. If you are taking a drug and only losing 16 pounds in almost a year,
yeah,
that's also...
40 weeks is about, 10 months? So they're losing 1.5 pounds a month is what it is, which you should be able to do by just stopping the Snickers bar. Or
adding in 10,000 steps a day.
Yeah, cutting back soda, or you don't have to do a whole lot. You just cut back a little bit. You'll lose 1.5 pounds per week.
Reduce all of the sugar out of your diet, and you'll lose way more than that. Do you know what I'm saying?
I wish they would measure their body composition too, because I go, of the 16 pounds, how much of that was bone and muscle?
Right.
Because
I'd
rather you lose 5 pounds of fat, keep my muscle and bone.
Correct.
That, by the way, that would be a big size change. That'd probably take you down 2 sizes.
Yeah.
Than to lose 16 pounds instead of 5 pounds, but have 50% of it be bone and muscle, which I guarantee you in these people it is. Anyways, but I don't have the data right now to back that. It is possible that when the drug is used in much larger numbers of patients, the benefits could be smaller and the side effects worse. Well, that's promising. Earlier this week,
I feel so much better.
Pfizer said it had decided to stop developing such a pill after a trial participant experienced a potential drug-induced liver injury. I like how they put that in quotations.
Yeah.
A potential injury. It's
potential drug.
We don't know if they got injured. It's a potential.
But we're going to stop just in case. Said no drug company ever.
Like, I'm potentially a billionaire.
Right.
I'm potentially injured. I'm potentially healthy.
Well,
it's like, remember Kevin James when he goes to the doctor, he does a comedy skit. He goes, the doctor told him you have pre-diabetes.
Yeah.
He goes, I have diabetes. He goes, no. You have pre-diabetes. He goes, what's that? He goes, it means you might get diabetes. He goes, well, could you get diabetes? He goes, maybe. He goes, well, then you're pre-diabetic too. He goes, I'm not pre-diabetic. You're pre-diabetic.
Here's what I love. They say in Eli Lilly's trial, they did not show any adverse effects on the liver. They did not produce their underlying data. How do they know that?
Well,
that irks me.
It's because the other one, someone potentially, in quotes, got injured, and in this one, someone potentially did not get injured.
I mean, but I'm saying, like that's
criminals when they like commit a crime, they go allegedly.
Yeah.
This person allegedly.
I get
that's what they use in the drug.
I'm saying on
companies.
The prior page, they said that they didn't disclose any of the underlying data, and the results weren't evaluated. So how do we know that particular statement is true?
We don't.
And this is how they get you, folks. This is how they get you.
Well, then they're happy because their stock surged on the encouraging data.
Oh yeah, they're making tons of money.
12% of American adults say they have taken a GLP-1. Isn't that crazy? 12%.
It's nuts.
Like, that's pretty much 1 in 8 people have taken it. About 40% of Americans are obese, and more than 10% have diabetes, most of whom have type 2 diabetes, according to the CDC.
Well, here's how confident they are, even after not having their data released or evaluated. They have already produced like 500 million pills or doses. Like it's atrocious. An earlier version of the article misstated the amount of pills Eli Lilly has produced so far. The company said that it's manufactured about 500 million worth of pills, not 1 billion. Oh, I'm so sorry. 500 million is so few. It's crazy.
For now, the drugs are only available to a small portion of people who have insurance coverage or can afford to pay for them out of pocket. Only rich countries have had access to them. You know, I talk about Donald Trump's
Oh my gosh, I
rant.
laughed so hard.
He's a funny guy, this Donald Trump.
He is. He had a little rant about a conversation he had with somebody who used to call him Donald and now calls him president.
He said, "This is my fat rich friend."
Yes, his words, not ours.
Right. And no disrespect.
He was complaining about he was getting one of these pills or one of these injections or something in the U.S. and
he called it a fat pill.
So
we have no idea what he's talking about.
So a fat pill, we don't know which one.
Said he took a fat pill and it doesn't work.
And it was like $1,300 in New York, and he went to the UK and got it for $88, which just is leading to the conversations about the excessive costs of pharmaceuticals in the US.
Yeah.
But we're the highest consumers. Like, they know that.
75% of pharmaceutical revenue comes from the United States. And we are 4% of the world's population. So 4% of the world's population generates 75% of the revenue for all drug companies.
So just take a few minutes and think about that. If you need to pause, think about those numbers and then ask yourself why they keep creating things like this. Do you know what I mean? Like, It is such a money producer.
Like if 4% of the world ate 75% of the world's cucumbers, you'd be like, that's so weird.
Correct. Well, you might think it's weird because how many people are tracking cucumber consumption? Not many, but maybe we
someone should. Because if that's the case, maybe the U.S. consumes 75% of everything. I don't know. Because
I don't think so.
Is there a cucumber shortage somewhere? As soon as next year, Novo Nordisk's Ozempic and Wegovy are expected to go generic in some countries, though not in the United States, because the United States patent laws, I think, are 20 years. So by the time the prices drop on these things, I think, don't quote me, I think it's going to be like 20 years. And I think if they just reduce that, and I'm quoting my favorite podcaster, Patrick Bet-David, who said, if they just change that to 7 years, drug prices would drop drastically. Besides, I would wait 7 years just to see what the true side effects are on everything anyway, on these new drugs. There's no way on mass levels. It says because orforglipron is so far ahead of the other GLP-1 pills being developed by other drug companies, Eli Lilly is expected to have a monopoly on the category for a few years and make lots of money over 20 years.
I did look up before we get done. I wanted to know what the cost of production for Ozempic and Wegovy was, because this always floors me. It's typically pennies on the dollar for what pharmaceutical companies actually charge the consumer. And not to my surprise, but possibly to yours, Ozempic and Wegovy on average cost 75 cents to $5 to produce, which includes a reasonable profit margin and taxes.
Mm-hmm.
And we just heard that they're charging somewhere of $1,000 to $1,300. So just do the math.
So if something costs you $5 to make and you can sell for $1,000, that's not bad profit.
Yeah, except you're profiting at the
and then
cost
what they do is when the patent's about to run out, they change a little something in the formula and get a new patent so they can make more money off of it.
It's ludicrous. Or if they've been ordered to reduce the cost, then they go, we're not making it anymore.
That's right.
And they pull it, because we've seen that too, didn't we? It was insulin.
It was insulin. That's right.
I am so impressed with my memory.
Good job.
I am gonna attribute that to my high levels of melatonin and my molecular hydrogen usage.
That's right.
I used to not be able to pull that kind of stuff from my memory.
That stuff's
as
been
easily.
Good. So much for not spending much time on the pill. All right. Another one from New York Times. We'll finish with this one today. Is it says the more protein the better? ? It's a common refrain on social media. We fact checked this and 5 other big protein claims circulating online. So it says, walk into any grocery store and you'll find rows of protein fortified energy bars, breakfast cereals, baked goods, snacks, even sports drinks. Social media influencers claim that most people are woefully deficient. One of the most, protein's important.
Well, the right protein is important.
But so is the right type of carbs and the right types of fat and all that stuff. I mean, I don't know.
I get a little freaked out now anytime I hear the word fortified.
Yeah.
Because that's typically in our food industry is not good for us.
That's right.
So you think about like fortified in folic acid. None of us are supposed to have that. It gets sprayed on all of the grains, and it's terrible for us.
If you're taking supplements and you want folic acid in it, don't take the one that says folic acid. Take the one that says folate. Yes. It needs to be methylated.
Yes. But I just look at that and I go, nothing fortified by our food industry is going to be healthy, first of all. And what you're getting when I am one, I will eat a protein bar. I'm usually very cautious about the kind that I eat, but it is not my main source of protein. It's something I'll grab if I don't have time for anything else. So it's an every once in a while thing, not a daily thing. Protein powders, we're very cautious about the protein powders that we use because, again, it's not always the best source of protein.
Yeah.
So I think you have to be really wary. I mean, make yourself some chicken. Have it shredded, have it in there. Eggs.
You guys have seen the words natural flavors in the back? That means it tastes natural. It's a flavor that got added to it that makes it taste natural.
A chemical.
So it's it's not natural.
Right.
It's just a natural flavor. It's the flavor of something that's natural.
We should do a podcast on all of this verbiage that our food industry uses and what it actually means. Because it's highly dangerous. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
One of the most well-known proteins proponents is Dr. Peter Attia, a physician, podcaster, and author who advises and invests in various protein-related food companies. So right there you go. He's investing in the proteins.
Investing in it.
Although I think he says some good things. I've heard some of his stuff. In his best-selling book, Outlive, he says that federal recommendations for protein are a joke, suggesting that most healthy and active people should consume nearly 3 times as much.
Well, we know the food pyramid doesn't make any sense.
Well, yeah, they made a new one recently. Have you seen it?
Mm-mm.
It's not that bad. Not everyone follows a balanced diet, and some people get less than what is recommended, which could put them at risk for deficiency. Teen girls, women, and older adults, for instance, are particularly at risk of falling short of the federal recommendations. Women tend to consume less meat than men. They also have less meat than men, I guess. So, right?
In most cases.
Yeah. Older adults also, I mean, like a healthy body fat percentage for women is like 20 to 25%.
Yeah, thank God it's not 13.
Body fat percent, healthy body fat percent for men is like 15. So older adults also usually eat less overall and may struggle to afford, cook, or chew protein-rich foods. So these are some claims that have been made. They're going to tell you if they're true or false, and then we'll tell you if they're right. The claim, you need more protein to build muscle. I say this is true. They say this is true also.
This is true.
Nutrition scientists recommend, consuming up to triple the federal recommendations to build muscle. If your strength training experts said that you'll probably want to consume more protein than the federal recommendation, of course. Muscle is made from protein, so that makes sense. In one well-designed trial of 50 middle-aged participants who followed the rigorous strength training program for 10 weeks, half consumed about 1.5 times the federal recommendations, and the other half consumed about twice as much. After the training period, both groups were stronger and had gained lean mass with no difference in results between them. So I would say if there's no difference and there's no harm, go ahead and do the more, just to make sure you're getting enough. But, you certainly don't want to kill yourself with protein. But some scientists say 1.5 times the federal recommendations. Some say more, and they say beyond that, the effect of protein on muscle gain kind of plateaus. I don't know what kind of plateaus means. It's in quotation marks. So, some small studies do suggest that certain athletes, like those doing rigorous strength and endurance training, or those recovering from injuries or restricting their calories, may benefit from consuming up to 3 times the federal recommendation. Now, I know for a fact bodybuilders do way more than 3 times the federal recommendation, because the federal recommendation was like 0.3 pounds per
pound of body
0.3
fat
grams per pound
weight.
of body weight is what and I know most bodybuilders eat 1 full gram, sometimes 1.5 grams per pound of body weight. And I think the kidney issues that they deal with is more from the drugs they take, not from the protein.
Oh, 100%.
But some people say high protein affects kidneys. Moving on, another claim, the more protein, the better. Am I on the correct? Did I skip it?
Older adults need more protein. There's some evidence that consuming more protein as you get older can reduce the risk of age-related muscle loss, but these findings have been mixed. In a 3-year study of nearly 25,000 women ages 65 to 79, for example, those who consumed about 50% more protein than federal recommendations were less frail than those who consumed less. Well, yes, but I would also say as important as that intake would also be physical activity, less processed food, and weight training. So I think that's as valuable.
I agree.
In older adults.
All right. According to the latest data, the average man in the United States is overshooting the federal protein recommendation by more than 55%, and the average woman by more than 35%. So they're saying we're already getting more.
Right.
We're already eating too much.
Which doesn't really make sense, if you ask me.
Next one is high protein diets can help with weight loss. The research suggests this is partially true. You can't eat more of anything and lose weight. So that's why it's partially. If you're restricting calories, but you're getting enough protein, you're going to preserve some muscle mass, but you're still going to lose some muscle when you're restricting calories. Some short-term trials in women and men have shown that eating 1.5 to 2 times the federal recommendation helped people lose more weight than lower protein diets did. Well, that makes sense. Research also said, but think about it. Some things are, they require energy to process.
Right.
So when you eat sugar, your body doesn't burn any calories to process that sugar. And when you eat a lot of carbs, a lot of fat, same thing. You're not using a lot of energy to process that fat. But when you eat protein, you do. Your body burns calories just to make sure you process the protein properly. So research suggests that if you're actively trying to lose weight, increasing your protein may help you lose more fat mass and retain more lean mass, which includes muscle. In a review published in 2024, scientists concluded that consuming at least 25% more protein than the recommended amount may help preserve muscle during weight loss. So you need more protein to build muscle, and you need more protein if you're trying to burn more fat. So either way, it sounds like it's good. So now for people consuming fewer calories, whether because you're dieting or taking medications like Wegovy or Ozempic.
Oh, I love that little plug they got there.
We see these things everywhere.
Oh
it's important to get adequate protein. Strength training at least twice a week is also key to preserving muscle during weight loss, he added.
That we agree with.
Absolutely. Now, the last one, the claim is the more protein, the better. Experts have concerns about this approach. So too much protein might leave less room for other healthy foods like fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. And it makes sense. If you fill yourself up, if you eat a big giant steak, you don't have room for the vegetables. It may not be good for you. It could also prompt you to eat more animal products, which are linked to higher risks of cardiovascular disease and earlier death, which is wrong.
Totally wrong.
I don't see that. Animal fats are not bad for us. Now, when we eat that big giant steak with a baked potato and sour cream, that's what leads to heart disease. Now, you eat that same steak with half a plate full of steamed broccoli and even some melted butter and some salt and pepper seasoning, it's not as bad for you. So it's not the animal products that are bad. It's what you eat them with.
There are some people that swear by the carnivore diet. And while I think God gave us everything to be able to eat, and so some fruits and more vegetables are important to our diet because we need we need different things that come from those, like the fiber and things like that. So, and minerals and various vitamins, which you're not going to be able to get from just your meat. But there are some people that swear their inflammation is down, they lose weight, they build muscle faster. And I think there's something
saturated
to that.
Animal fat is anti-inflammatory and beneficial. You just can't mix it with sugars and carbs. I mean, you eat them separately.
Now, we're going to be learning about a new protein, it's called Perfect Amino, and it's a supplement that actually absorbs into the bloodstream in 20 to 30 minutes and won't break your fast. So we're going to be talking to somebody about that today, because I know we've been having conversations about it, and it can really, really, really help you maintain and develop more lean muscle, lose weight, and not lose that lean muscle mass if you're doing things like fasting. So
amino acids have been a staple in bodybuilding diets or supplementation for decades. And typically it's, they drink it before a workout or throughout their workout to make sure they're not breaking down too much muscle. And they're only building. So it does talk about protein may also strain the kidneys. It said more than 1 in 7 adults in the United States are estimated to have chronic kidney disease, and up to 9 out of 10 of those don't know that they have it. So get your kidneys checked. It's not a bad idea, but I seriously doubt that eating more protein is going to hurt the kidneys. I don't see that being an issue. Now, when they do kidney tests, they look for protein in your urine. If you're leaking protein into your urine, that means your kidneys aren't working properly. But I don't know if the high protein is what caused that. So.
Right. And I know these are also some of the same groups that put such a fear about higher levels of vitamin D and higher levels of melatonin and all these things that actually, if taken in higher doses, can be super helpful. in reducing inflammation, reducing disease processes. So I always take what these groups say with a grain of salt and then dig deeper and do your own research, because there's always more to what you read in these articles.
Absolutely. Bottom line, though, drugs bad, protein good.
More protein, better.
Right. But not too much, like anything else.
Yes. Balance. It's about balance.
Exactly. Goldilocks principle. Not too hot, not too cold.
Just right.
Thanks for joining us. We'll be back in just a few days.
See ya.
This podcast is part of the Frederick Podcast Network. Learn more at listenfrederick.com.